a lifestyle. Sports cards and we live now. Jeremy Lee in the building and every guest that you ever needed. Sports cards after hours keep the hobby heated. Updates, hobby talk like you never seen it. Sports cards live and none could ever beat it. Sports cards is a lifestyle. Sports cards and we live now. Welcome to another episode of Sports Cards Live with your host, Jeremy Lee.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the very first time we are having Miller and Miller auctions on the Sports Cards Live YouTube channel. I'm excited to bring them to our community, to introduce you guys to a couple of the people from Miller and Miller Auctions, and we are going to dive into their auction. And let me tell you, there are some amazing pieces in this auction. You are going to see me analyze a few of these cards. We're going to look at the condition. We're going to zoom in as I like to do. But let's start by meeting the gentleman from Miller and Miller. We are going to bring out Mr. Justin Miller as well as Mr. Ben Pernfuss. Guys, welcome. Justin, how are you?
I'm doing great. It's a late night for me, though, I must say. The only time that I stay up past 9:30 these days with young kids is to go to my late ice time for my rec league hockey. So you're lucky to get me, but I'm up.
Good. Well, I'm glad to have you. Your name is on this auction company, and it's really cool to have you, Justin, because I met Ben originally probably 4 or 5 months ago at the Montreal Sport Card Expo. I believe, Ben, I saw you again at the Toronto Expo. We chatted and realized that there's a way that I can help you guys out. Let's do an episode. Let's bring you on here. Let's learn about Miller and Miller auctions, because you guys have never done a sports card memorabilia auction before, but you have history doing other auctions. First of all, Ben, welcome to you as well.
Thank you. Thanks, Jeremy. Happy to be here. Yeah, it's exciting. Exciting to be here after 5 months meeting you at the Montreal show.
Yeah, it's nice to get this rolling. And I just want to say to everybody watching, guys, I'm excited to introduce you to Justin and Ben. We're going to share the screen to their auction house. It's Miller and Miller auctions.com. Feel free to head over there, register to bid. Let's show them a little bit of Sports Cards Live community love here. If you are here because you're on the Miller and Miller email list, you're a customer already, I want to welcome you to the Sports Cards Live YouTube channel. Happy to have you here as well. But Justin, you are new to the sports card memorabilia auction scene, but you guys are not new to the antique and advertising auction scene. Give us a quick synopsis of the history of the company.
Absolutely. Yeah. So this is the first sports focused auction that we've had at Miller and Miller, but we've been doing auctions now for over 8 years. And originally, actually, our family was into, like, we had an antique store in Baden, Ontario. So it was actually, it all started with our father, Jim Miller, who was a well-respected dealer. And he was very well known in Canada for basically focusing on high value collectibles. So a lot of his sort of main interests were automobilia, Petroliana, Canadiana, and basically anything that was just great. So he had a really, really good eye for quality. And that's where Ethan and I, so my brother Ethan and I are the owners of the company. And we really, I mean, he was our mentor. I spent a lot of time traveling with my dad, and Ethan did as well, learning about everything that you could possibly need to learn about in this industry and how the industry works as well. Now, he was not an auctioneer. Ethan and I now have taken the business in a different direction and started doing online auctions. And we really, the transitional period between us being dealers with JC Miller Antiques, which was our father's company, and Miller and Miller Auctions was, it was actually eBay, really. I mean, we were power sellers for a number of years. We sold thousands and thousands of items on eBay, and that's kind of what really, how should I put it? It really made us realize that the auction was the way to maximize value for anybody's collectibles. And so we were selling a lot of our own things on eBay, but then it didn't take long before people were asking us, because we were getting good value for the items that we were selling, people were asking us to sell their thing. Well, it didn't take us long to figure out that it just doesn't make sense. By the time you pay eBay's fees and by the time we have to make a little bit of money, we can't be selling things on eBay for other people. So that's when we decided to have our first auction event. and that was 8 years ago now, and we haven't stopped since. So I mean, our auctions are very focused on different categories. To date, we've had a lot of Petroliana, Canadiana. These sound like they're sort of focused, but in reality, they're fairly broad as far as the scope of what's allowed into the auction. Sports memorabilia has always been on our radar in the sense of, we wouldn't turn down a great Canadian sports memorabilia consignment to a Canadiana auction, but to date, we never really, how should I put it? We haven't really put enough effort together to actually have a focused event with sports memorabilia, and that was when Ben kind of brought it up, and that's, I mean, he's taken this thing, and you can see the quality of what we've got to the date.
Yeah, no, you said like Canadiana a few times. We definitely have an American audience here as well. And I don't want anyone watching who's in the States to think that this might not be an auction house for you to do business with. You do, I'm assuming, have American clients as well, Justin. Is that right?
Absolutely. So yeah, that's one thing. We're an international auction house in the sense of we ship internationally. We don't exclude any country or anybody from bidding in our auctions. And typically, even in our Canadiana sales, there's a lot of American bidders as well. It's a lot of what we sell ends up being shipped to the U.S., especially with the advertising collectibles that we do as well. So that's definitely something that is something that we're used to doing.
I mean, because some of that, now I just shared that, like, look at this right here, all this tobaccoana, maybe is what they call it, and all the different categories that you do sell. There's some really nice pieces that I'm sure ship all over the world. So let's bring Ben into this, because you mentioned that Ben has kind of run with this, and I did have the pleasure of meeting him, and we chatted, and now here we are today. But let me ask you, Ben. Let me ask you then, Ben. Creating this auction, what were some of the challenges that you found? How is it going? Are you excited with this first? I mean, you have 260 lots in the auction that end. By the way, everybody, the auction ends on January 25th. So you've got a good 11 days between now and then. But again, right now, unfortunately, it's covered up on the bottom of the screen. But if you want to go bid or register to bid on Miller and Miller, it's millerandmillerauctions.com. You can go over there right now and set up register to bid account with them. But Ben, 260 lots, that is not a small amount. How have you found the process? How do you feel about the whole category, and what's a bit of your history in sports cards? Like get us caught up here, buddy.
Yeah, so I guess I'll start sort of where it all started. So, Justin mentioned they've been in business for 8 years, and I've sort of been along for the ride for most of that 8 years. And that's taken me all over Canada, parts of the US. So where this all started was Vancouver. So Ethan Miller and I, Justin's brother, we fly into Vancouver, and we drive across Canada, and we stop at people's houses. We do consignment pickups. And we kept getting these opportunities for people to consign their sports memorabilia, and we were kind of thinking, okay, we have the platform. People expect quality out of us, but we think that we can do a good job in the sports card market. And I sort of brought that idea up to Ethan, because my passion, outside of the auction world, was collecting cards. You can maybe see a few behind me, but yeah, my dad was a collector of hockey cards. So ever since I started playing sports, I would collect the players that I loved. I inherited my dad's card collection. So it's been sort of a long time coming for me to enter this sports industry. But yeah, it all started out west. We were at a gentleman's house, and he was looking to consign some sports cards, and we said, yeah, let's do this. And that was in August. So it's been, I guess almost 6 months now of collecting items for this sale. And we've tried to curate a wide range of items. And I'm pretty happy with what we have. I think there's a little bit of everything in this sale, and hopefully items that will interest a wide audience.
And you obviously, made an impact or an impression on a lot of people in the space, and some OG type of collectors. There's Angelo Savelli, who I don't know personally, but is a very well-known collector up in Canada here, and he's got an amazing collection. And one of the things that you guys do in your auction listings is you have a section, you've got description, condition, and provenance, which I love that when you actually disclose the provenance of the item. I think that's amazing. And several items in the auction come from the Angelo Savelli collection. Now, if you are somebody watching or listening right now and you know a bit about the history of the hobby, you know that this Angelo Savelli, again, highly respected, with maybe the best collection in Canada, is my understanding. Now, Ben, you were able to procure some items from his collection for this auction. I think that says a lot, considering this is the first, dedicated sports card and memorabilia auction at Miller and Miller. How were you able to do that?
Yeah, no, it's really an honor to be trusted with some of his pieces, like a legend in the world of sports collecting in Canada, and I would even say in North America. And so Ben, a colleague of ours, and myself have got to know Jason, that's Angelo's son, over the last few months, and he looked at the sort of the quality of photography and the website that we have, and we sort of explained to him our international reach, and we formed a relationship and got to see Angelo's collection, and we've sort of curated a collection of about 20 or 30 of his items into this sale. And it's really an honor to be trusted with those items, and we're excited to see them sell.
That's awesome. Dave Archbell is looking forward to hearing more about the auction. Joe Perot from Santa Cruz, what's going on, buddy? Says, nice red portrait cob. It is a nice red. We're going to look at that card. And West Texas Cars and Cards, hello to you. Welcome to the show. Justin, tell us a little bit about, in your mind, what differ, and in the specific to sports cards and memorabilia, if you can, what differentiates Miller and Miller from, say, the competition? What can people expect out of you guys when they're doing business with you as a consignor or as a buyer?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, when I look at the experience, we always try to make things as simple as possible, whether you're consigning or buying. There's a lot of, look specifically to the consignment process. I know when we first got into it, there's a lot of auction companies that had very complicated fee structures where it was, you get charged for every photograph and cataloging and in addition to your standard commission and all that. So typically at Miller and Miller, it's a commission rate that's set for the contract, and that covers everything. It's just as simple as you're charged a certain fee amount on top of your hammer price, a percentage of the hammer price, and that's how we work on contracts. And as far as our commission rates, they vary based on the amount of content that we get as far as the overall value. Now we're placing estimates on these items in advance of us actually taking them on. So there's a lot of auction houses that maybe don't specialize as much, that don't have the ability or the specialists to be able to produce estimates in advance. We're making sure that, of course, like, we agree basically on a value or a range of value in essence before we take that product on, that card on in this case, for an upcoming sale, so that we're, there's no surprises, so to speak. So that's from the consignment end. Now, as far as bidding, it's the same thing. I mean, it's as simple as going to Miller and Miller auctions.com. Now, if most people do register directly with us at Miller and Miller auctions.com, but we also do have the auction, and this is I think important for a lot of American bidders, because sometimes, just due to search engine optimization or whatever it is, it can be hard to find. There's so many auction houses out there. If you're searching for a sports card auction, it can be hard to find Miller and Miller until you actually discover us, and in which case you're going to get the email blasts and that sort of thing. But we use live auctioneers as well, and I don't know if you were aware of that, Jeremy, but live auctioneers, most people are familiar with it as being sort of all auctions in one place kind of thing. So the auction is actually on both sites, Miller and Miller auctions.com and live auctioneers, and they're synced together. So if you place a bid on live auctioneers, and somebody has a higher bid in millerandmillerauctions.com, it's going to be outbid and vice versa. So it's very streamlined. So most of our sales have been what we call a live webcast to date, where Ethan and I are the auctioneers, and we actually do the whole, auctioneer skit that you typically think of from Sotheby's or some of the major houses. Now, this is a timed auction, and I think that's fairly typical for a lot of the memorabilia sales that I see. We could easily do a web or a simulcast auction for sports memorabilia in the future, but I think the sort of timed soft close format is fairly well suited to this industry, and it's kind of what people are used to. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be fairly similar to what you'd expect from other auction houses as far as the experience. But again, there's a focus on simplicity, and we're really trying to make it as easy as possible for new bidders to participate. And then again, we've got our existing clientele of people that are used to a variety of items coming through Miller and Miller. So the sports cards is just something new that they can find interesting outside of what they normally see.
Now, I registered myself to bid, and I've bid on a few items because there's one I absolutely love, but I've bid on a few items, and it was very easy. Like I registered, I was approved. Like, is there an approval process to bid? Did you guys fast track me because you recognized my name after we've been talking, or like how quickly can someone go from registering to bid to placing a bid?
Yep. So through millerandmillerauctions.com, if you register, it's as simple as having a valid credit card that's associated with the address to which we would ship the items. And like I've said, we ship internationally too. So it's fairly straightforward that way. If you're registering through live auctioneers, the same requirements would be in place. You'd have to have a valid credit card on file, and
How fast after the auction ends and I pay, do you ship? Like, auction ends on the 25th. I pay you that. Either I mail you a check, or I wire you, or I send you EMT or PayPal or what have you. How soon after you receive my money do I get a tracking number that my item's been shipped to me?
So that's a good question. So Miller and Miller has an in-house shipping team. So all the shipping takes place with using our own staff at our own facility. So
Good.
if you win an item in an auction on Saturday, most of our auctions are on Friday or Saturday. The shipping team comes in on Monday morning, and it's a dedicated team of 4 to 6 people that their only focus is on packing and shipping everything there. So packages start going out on Monday, and those are the items that are already paid and ready to go. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday until they're finished. So to answer your question, it's immediately, basically. Most people will receive their items within 5 business days, and that's to the US as well.
Yeah. Dave Archibald says, I registered. It was very simple. That's good to hear, Dave. Thanks for that feedback. I want to highlight one more thing that you guys do on your website before we start diving in and looking at some of these items. And I'm just going to share the screen again. So here's the millerandmillerauctions.com website. But you've got home, about, auction, sell with us, buy, and you've got the Miller Times. And I wanted to shine a light on this because I think it's really cool that you can come to here. Welcome to the Miller Times online magazine, sharing intriguing stories, little known facts about the unique items we come across at our auction house. And you can scroll through, and there's several articles here and some interesting stuff. So Justin, just tell us a little bit about the Miller Times and what the reason is that you have this on your website.
Absolutely. So this is a major focus of my brother Ethan and business partner. And reality is that this is sort of the essence of Miller and Miller Auctions. We have always felt that the stories that are associated with these items and the people that have collected them are extremely important to the value of the items themselves. In a lot of cases, it really translates into what they ultimately sell for. So we've found that it's super important to make sure that these stories don't get lost, and they're highlighted by way of making these stories that focus on the items and the people who have collected them. So it's no different with the the sports cards and memorabilia. And we had talked briefly, Jeremy, about the importance of provenance and how it's becoming increasingly important. One of the consigners was at our facility today, just in doing some work for an upcoming article on some items that he consigned to it. These stories are super, super interesting. There are cases where major media networks have picked them up. In the case of a Maud Lewis painting that we sold for nearly $500,000, it was an international news story that was originally a Miller Times story. The painting that sold was originally traded for a grilled cheese sandwich in Ontario, and ultimately sold for the amount that I just mentioned. So, I mean, there's serious content here. And it's really part of what we do. It's the essence of what's important in art. Like, this is why we do it. I mean, the stories, it's the kind of things that we can share when we're talking like we are right now, right?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of stories behind the items. Like you said, I think it adds value, and it's like when you buy a nice collectible and you're now sharing it with you're having people over and they ask about it. It's one thing to say, I bought this. It's another thing to say, I bought this, but its history is such and such, or look where it came from, or the previous owner was, or I know who opened this out of a pack, whatever it is. I know who took this sign off of a barn in rural Saskatchewan or wherever, like, I think those are really cool. Wayne Simpson, welcome to the show. Wishes you luck on January 25th. Old cards. It'll be interesting to the good stuff in sports memorabilia showcase. I think I read that right, Wayne, but thanks for the comment. And we're going to start looking at some of the items in the auction. Ross Life says, just tuned in. Are there any tax implications for a U.S. seller in your auctions? I'm just going to go on a limb because I've actually looked into this before, Justin. And do you agree with me that if a seller consigns an item to you, an auction house in Canada, a U.S. resident seller consigns an item to a Canadian auction house sells that item, receives the proceeds from the buyer, and then sends that money cross-border down to the U.S., there is no requirement for you, the Canadian auction company, to report anything to the IRS as far as money being sent down south. I'm pretty certain that's the law, but do you know about that, Justin? Have you had to deal with it?
No, we haven't had to deal with anything like that. And to be honest with you, that's my understanding as well. So there shouldn't be any complications in that regard. Now, if referring to purchasing, it's for a U.S. seller in your auctions. Yeah, so that would be my understanding as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there are any, Ross Life, but thanks for the question. Thanks for joining the show here tonight. I'm excited to jump into some items. Now, before we do, I just want to say to the chat, if you happen to be watching on Instagram right now, come on over to YouTube. It's easier to see comments there and have the chat over on the YouTube channel. Would love to welcome everybody over there. He goes on, okay, he follows up. He says, I meant extra taxes or imports, but I think I get it. For a seller, there wouldn't be that. There would be no, that's up to you to report on your 1040 in the US, how you report your revenue. If you are buying an item, then you have to deal with your domestic tariffs and that sort of thing. But I don't think there's much to do with that. I don't know for sure.
Like, we're not like, yeah, I mean, in regards to a buyer and sales tax, like we're not charging like Ontario sales, like you pay the sales tax when you import it across the border, assuming that you do it that way. But it's not like there's no tax on top of, like, we're not charging any tax on top of the purchase price to American buyers.
Right.
But yeah, if you have any additional questions, Ross, you can definitely email me directly at justin@millerandmillerauctions.com about that sort of thing.
Okay, great. And Backcountry Lakes has a question about shipping, or wants to know, how can I get more information on shipping? Justin, is that something just email you, or is there a link somewhere on the website? Is there an FAQ or somewhere here where people can look into your shipping policies?
Yeah, so email again. I'll give you an email address, and maybe you can maybe post it up in the notes or something like that, Jeremy. But it's shipping@millerandmillerauctions.com, and our shipping coordinator Jennifer she's able to put together a quote for you if there's specific items that you're interested in. Like cards specifically are going to be, typical rates. Like shipping isn't something that Miller and Miller looks at as like like we're not trying to make money on it. So it's basically just the cost of the label and the labor in the box and that sort of thing. So, but if you want to quote specifically on an item, because there's a lot of variety in size in the items, just email Jennifer at shipping@millerandmillerauctions.com.
So like I have on the screen right now, or I had on.
Correct. Yep, that's Miller and Miller. Yeah, AND.
Yeah.
Correct. Yep.
I'm just going to go change it to the bottom so we don't cut off Ben's face. So there we have there's the email address on the bottom right there for you, Backcountry Lakes, and there's where you can ask any questions. But I'll take that off the screen in just a few minutes. Okay, if we don't have any other questions from the audience, and I do see we got a lot of viewers right now, guys. So welcome to everybody on YouTube, everybody watching on Twitter or X and Instagram as well. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We are going to go back into screen share mode. We're going to close this. We're going to go back here and to the main website. So this is the home. I'm going to go back to the home, everybody. This is the home page at millerandmillerauctions.com. And you can go to auctions. We're going to go into current auctions. And we're going to click on this one right here. We're going to go to bid now, the pre-1980 sports cards. And I noticed there are a few post-1980, but we're not going to nitpick about that at all. Minor issue, not even an issue, just a minor thing to point out. Most of the items are from pre-1980. And you can come in here and you can see that we are going per page. We're going to go to 96 items to speed it up a little bit. Here's where you'd register to bid if you have not registered yet. I am registered, but we'll just leave myself logged out for now. And here are the items. So I want to do a quick scroll through everything first, guys. So we're just going to run through all 260 lots, starting with lot number 1 here, some vintage hockey cards, big cards, the Bobby Hull rookie, Guy Lafleur, second-year Gordie Howe. We got a Bobby Orr rookie, a Sandy Koufax rookie, 55 Bowman Mantle. You can see the Nolan Ryan, the Pete Rose, the Willie Mays, the 57 top set, my new favorite set. Some other memorabilia pieces here. We got the Sheriff coins right there. More vintage hockey cards. There is a lot of baseball. A 23 Patterson Joliot rookie, Ted Lindsay rookie. There's the Sawchuck rookie right there. Some vintage baseball, 52 tops baseball. There's a Mays. There's a Mantle. There's a Jackie, low grade, but it's a 52 tops Jackie. Some 50s and 60s hockey sets. Some tobacco set cards, singles as well. We've got the first hockey card ever right here being the Frank Patrick from C56. I'll also point out that this is the Cyclone Taylor. I just saw a pretty, I forget the grade, but I just saw a copy of that card sell for about $10,000 somewhere else. The Newsy Lalonde, I believe it was actually. There's a Joe Namath rookie. There's a Michael Jordan rookie card. Another 52 tops Mantle, the Ty Cobb red portrait that Joe Perot pointed out earlier, another Bobby Orr rookie. I'm just running through this to give you guys the scope of the auction. And just like, I don't know Ben very well, but I got to say, I'm kind of proud of this guy for putting together and curating an amazing auction. A really nice Tim Horton rookie card, 52 Parkers and a KSA 3 holder. We got the Makita rookie, the Plant rookie, the Bauer, the Dryden, the Esposito. We just saw an Esposito, a Pop 1 PSA 10 sell for about 80 grand the other day, like a day or two ago. Pretty crazy sale. So you can get into a much more affordable one here on Miller and Miller. Some more Mays, a Reggie Jackson, an Ernie Banks rookie. Autographed baseballs. We've got an autographed Lou Gehrig ball right here, and it's inscribed to John. If you are named John, now's your chance to get a Lou Gehrig ball that was inscribed to you. Some old film featuring Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. We'll talk about that in shortly here. A Babe Ruth autographed single-signed baseball. Amazing piece right there. We'll hear the story about it as well. More sort of oddball pieces, different memorabilia type of pieces here. We're going to get into some wrappers, more cards, tickets, Muhammad Ali, George Chuvalo ticket, a ticket from the filming of Rocky IV, the fight, some Type 1 photos, some trunks, a pack of 1980 Topps basketball. I'm just running through a Foster Hewitt autographed photo, really cool. We have a Wayne Gretzky autographed rookie card, O-Pee-Chee. The card grade's a 4. The autograph is authenticated by PSA. Type 1 photo of Bobby Orr and Henri Richard. I mean, just a really nice selection. The original card locker, another Gretzky rookie. We'll go to the last page. We're almost done running through the basic. Got more Gretzky rookies to look at. Second year Howe, Sawchuk rookie, a pair of the Howe and the Richard rookies from 51 Parkhurst. I mean, two of the key cards as far as hockey goes. Some sets. And you can see there's a second year Bowman Mickey Mantle card. Batman, 66 Batman blackback set right there. Really cool stuff. Lemieux, Waz, more Gordie Howe rookies, some memorabilia, some Forum, Montreal Garden or Maple Leaf Garden seats, Montreal Forum seats. And we're getting to my favorite item soon here. Some old games. I've bid on these items here. I love those. But here's my favorite right here, guys. The life-size statue of Fred Cyclone Taylor. Oh, I've been outbid. I was the high bidder for a while. I'm no longer the high bidder. But I like this item. We'll get into the pictures because there's a picture of Ben in that listing as well to show just how big that piece is. So there we go. We've run through really quickly here all 260 items. And there's some awesome stuff, as you guys saw. I want to welcome Jacob Dahl to the show. Jake, what's going on? And Mike Double V, some serious vintage cards. I could be in trouble. Make sure you guys go register and bid. You know, listen, you may bid on this auction. You may not. Hopefully you do. But Ben, what is kind of what are your guys' plans as far as the cadence of sports card and memorabilia auctions? Any plans yet to do them monthly, quarterly, twice a year? What are you guys thinking right now behind the scenes?
Yeah, so just based on the response we've had to this one, even already, the plan right now is to have 2 a year. So we're likely, when this one wraps up, we'll be taking on consignments sort of immediately after and all the way up until the end of summer. And we'll likely have our second sale planned for sometime in September. That date's not set yet, but just based on the response we've had to this, I think we'll have another one planned in the near future.
Okay. No, that's good to know. I like to have that sort of on my calendar to know when to watch for the next one. And, I do encourage people to register just to even get on the mailing list, right? So you will be advised, alerted to other auctions. And, maybe you see something in a non-sports card or memorabilia auction that interests you. I know for me, I got to kind of just stick to what I know and love, because I was showing these guys a bit of my other collections earlier, and we can all lose control, which is good for their business. But I think for a long-term customer relationship, you want to make sure that you're buying the things that you love the most. And, but hey, you never know what else you'll find that you like, right, Justin? You guys have such a great a breadth of items that you do offer. How many auctions does Miller & Miller have? Let's go to 2024. How many auctions did you run in 2024 total? Just to get an idea of how busy you guys are.
Yeah, of course. Ben, you probably have a better idea than I do, but I want to say it's somewhere between 14 and 17 or something.
I actually think, I do think it is about 15. We're kind of on, we take summer off to take on consignment, but we usually have, at least one auction a month outside of July and August, and sometimes 2. And then the other thing to note is that we also have sometimes now we have back-to-backs on Friday night and Saturday.
Okay, cool. All right, good. Okay, well, why don't we do this now, everybody? We are going to go back into the auction. We're going to look at some items specifically, and we're going to start with this lot number 1. And you can ask Ben. The other day when we met and we kind of were planning this show, I was drooling over this particular Dave Keon rookie card, 1961 Parkhurst. It's a PSA 7, you guys, and it's very recently graded. You can tell by the serial number here in the high 9. It starts with 999. That's, in the last 6 months at the most, I have to think. And this is a great looking card. Just look at the way the color of Keon pops off the card. The registration is basically perfect. That registration being how the different printing plates were aligned on the cardboard canvas. Were they perfectly aligned, or were they off a little bit. Oftentimes in vintage cards, you will see a blurry image. Here, we have no blur. The top edge is wonderful. The top corners are great. The top right corner, not perfect, but still beautiful. Edges on the side are both really clean. Bottom edge is nice. The bottom corners are great. Centering as we zoom out. Let's zoom out, bring this down. The centering looks really good overall. And I say that because of the distance between the black name bar and the edge. So this border right here versus this border right here, it might be slightly shifted to the right, but not bad. This is a strong PSA 7 in my opinion. And we know that PSA is grading harder right now, so this recent serial number will make you think that as well. Take a quick look at the back of the card, and nice looking back. You see some toning as you get higher up on the card and lower down. That just tells me this is a beautiful, natural card. Absolutely love the card. I don't own one right now, guys, but I used to own a Keon rookie up until about a year ago. And this one is currently at $750. What a beautiful piece. Do we know where this one comes from? The Angelo Savelli collection. That's really cool provenance right there, Ben. Anything you want to add to this card? You can tell I love it.
Yeah, no, I mean, you've got me even more excited about it than I was before. And yeah, coming from the Angelo Savelli collection, he was known for his quality, for his eye, for condition. So yeah, just a killer card. And we were pretty excited to get it in, and to come back a 7 is awesome. And yeah, and another thing to note, you mentioned it's at $750, and that is $750 Canadian dollars. So for our US audience here, we're talking Canadian dollars. So you're getting a pretty nice discount if you purchase from us up here in Canada.
And I just checked out Card Ladder comps on my phone just to get an idea. And like PSA 7 Dave Keon rookies are selling for, but going back to I'm seeing 3 sales in 2024 between 1,060 and 1,146 USD. So that's like $1,500 basically nowadays Canadian. But this one, I think, should sell for a premium because it is that nice and recently graded. Will it? We will see. I love the card. Justin, anything you want to add before we move on?
No, the one thing I did forget to mention is the buyer's premium, which I think a lot of people are aware of. It's noted fairly prominently when you register, but the buyer's premium when you're bidding through Miller & Miller is 18%. So that's just on top of the hammer price. And the only other additional fees would be, of course, your shipping, and then all of the packages that we ship as well are insured, to make sure that you get them the way that they're presented.
Right on. And 18%, I would say, is pretty competitive for buyer's premium. I'm used to seeing 20 in the space lately. Okay, Dickie Moore, 1952 Parkhurst rookie card. Now, Dickie Moore is, I think, the second best rookie card in the 52 Parkhurst set, only behind Tim Horton's card. But, Montreal Canadiens. The reason why I wanted to look at this one is simply because of the centering. 52 Parkhurst is notoriously difficult for centering, but this card is wonderfully centered. Like, it's not perfect, but it is wonderfully centered. And I mean that. It is graded by KSA, the Canadian grading company, one of the Canadian grading companies. It's a near mint 7. And I cannot argue with that. That actually from the front looks to be conservatively graded. Let's take a quick look at the back. And on the back, we can see, okay, maybe it's not, because you do see some staining. It looks like some wax staining or something on the back, which definitely would bring the grade down. If not for that, the front to me is a lot stronger than a 7. Maybe not a lot. Let me say stronger than a 7, while the back is maybe a little bit weaker, and they balance it out at a final grade of a 7. I think that's fair. This is a beautiful, beautiful copy right there, Ben. What did you think of this piece?
Yeah, I mean, it's a killer card. And as you said, I do think it does get hidden a little bit in the 52, 53 Parkhurst by Tim Horton. But yeah, I mean, Dickie Moore, a legendary Montreal name. And we have a wide range of the 52, 53 Parkhurst in the sale. And I do think that this is the best condition card that we have. And it's cool to see it in such a high grade condition.
Very nice card. All right, let's have a look at a low grade but a beautiful Sandy Koufax 1955 Topps rookie card. Now, guys, this is a PSA 3. But again, we have to look at the serial number by PSA. This was graded recently. It's another one of these 999s. Like, this is a very recently graded card. And as we zoom out, you can see just how clean this thing is. I mean, the corners, the edges, the color, all very strong. There is a slight registration issue, which I can see when I look at the name Sandy Koufax. You can sort of see this blue shadow on the bottom of the letters here. You see a bit of blue, like right in between the green and the yellow here. So that's a registration issue, but still a very nice copy. Again, registration can make a card look like a poor registration can make a card look terrible. This one does not do that. His face is still very clear. Maybe some slight surface issues, a little bit of snow showing up over here, but nothing too bad. Like, this is it's an extremely clean card for a 3. There could be a surface wrinkle somewhere that we're not noticing in this 2-dimensional image. The back has some toning, so that's going to impact the grade for sure. I'd rather it be on the back than on the front. This, to me, is a very strong 3, you guys. And listen, I'm not just saying this. Like, this is a strong 3. Ben, what were your thoughts? Did you feel it was undergraded, fairly graded? Are you impressed with this copy as I am?
Yeah, totally. I mean, this card was graded at recently, as you said, graded at the Toronto Sports Expo, and it's one of those cards. You get it in your hand. This was found raw, not that long ago. Long time Canadian collector, eye for quality. He was expecting a higher grade. I was expecting a higher grade, I'll be honest. But it's a clean 3, and yeah, we're excited to have it in the sale.
Couple of comments came in on Instagram. Original 6 asked, Jeremy, what are your thoughts on the Keon PSA 7? Well, if you're still there, Original 6 cards, you heard me say how much I love that card, dude. Like it comes with my complete blessing to the buyers. Bottom of the 9th card asked, coming in just now, Jeremy, is this a Canadian auction house? Yes, bottom 9th cards. They are a Canadian auction house. They are out of Ontario, but they will service their U.S. customers as well. So feel free to go register and bid. MillerandMillerAuctions.com. You can see that on the bottom of the screen right now. Let's go to the next item. We got a bunch to get through. 1957 Topps Baseball complete, highly graded set. Now, if you've been following my content in the last 3 weeks, you know that I've recently fallen in love with the 57 Topps baseball set. And as I run through a stack of cards on my desk right now, you can see I have 5 cards from the set right here in my hands. I love 57 Topps baseball. It's this new love I've discovered. And here you have a complete high grade set, currently at $8,500. And really, I mean, we're not going to go through it card by card, but it is filled with Hall of Famers. It had, including like Mickey Mantle, Yogi Berra, Sandy Koufax, Ted Williams, Clemente. It's just what a Willie Mays. Like, they're all in this set. Ernie Banks, and you got the rookie card. This is the Frank Robinson rookie card. You've got the Brooks Robinson rookie. You've got the Jim Bunning rookie card. All the Mazeroski rookie. All Hall of Fame rookies. An absolutely amazing card. And maybe my favorite card in the set is this right here, the Yankees power hitters with Mickey Mantle and Yogi Berra. There's the Berra card himself and the Mantle. I have the middle card. I don't have the Berra or the Mantle yet. I certainly am going to get the Berra one of these days. Again, just an amazing set. I love it. Ben, confirm for me, are all the cards in the set graded, all 407 of them?
All 407 are graded. That's right, Jeremy. And all are graded a 6 or above. So the gentleman that consigned this set has been working for the last 30 years to find all examples to be above a 6 or above. So it's exciting to have 407 graded cards altogether, 6 or above.
And you mentioned the gentleman who put the set together. He's by the name of Lionel Carter. He's a pretty famous, I believe he's the one, right? A significant inclusion in this set are 3 SGC graded cards from the famed Lionel Carter collection, as designated on the SGC labels. Lionel Carter began collecting baseball cards in 1933, published his first article in 36. He contributed to major publications like Jefferson Burdick's Card Collectors Bulletin. If you don't know who Jefferson Burdick is, he is the godfather of sports cards, guys. He came up with the term T206 or C55, or all the naming conventions were him. His collection is famous. Jefferson Burdick is famous. So there is some really cool provenance on some of the cards in this lot. Okay, let's keep on going, guys. We got a few more to get through. We have from the 1923 Patterson set, the V145-1. That is something that Jefferson Burdick came up with, is the Oral Joliot rookie card, PSA 3.5. These are really tough cards. And I brought up the PSA population report. So here it is right here. You can have it canceled where it's got a hole punch in it, or you can have it without the hole punch like this one. And this is a 3.5. So you got to scroll all the way up to see where the threes are, right in this column here, back down to card number 14. So it's one of these three, but there's only ever been, what is that, like 52 copies ever graded by PSA of this card. And this is one of the 3.5s. Guys, it is a very nice copy. I own a copy of this card myself. I saw a Howie Morenz from this set sell tonight for almost $15,000 US. This is the Oral Joliot. This is an amazing set. This was the first hockey set that we had after the 1912 C57s. There was an 11-year gap. And then this Patterson chocolate set came out, and it has 4 key Hall of Famers: Oral Joliot, Jack Adams, King Clancy, and Howie Morenz, among others. Vezina's in there. Malone is in there. It's a great set. This is the Joliot. This is a key pre-war Hall of Fame hockey rookie. Ben, do you agree? Anything you want to add to this card?
Yeah, killer card. And the gentleman, just a little bit of backstory on it. The gentleman who consigned this card, he had the goal of collecting every rookie from the Hockey Hall of Fame. So he consigned a number of those cards, and this one was his pride and joy. It was the card that he enjoyed the most in his collection, and he had the Orrs, he had the Howes, he had the Gretzkys, but this is the one that stood out to him, and I think that says something about the significance of that card.
Yeah, that's always cool to hear the story behind the card itself. And I'm just doing some quick math here. So I want to go back to the 57 set for one moment here, because Dave Archbell says the current price on 57 doesn't even cover the grading costs. So $8,500 divided by 407 cards is just under 21 Canadian dollars per card right now. And I think, Dave, you are right. That will not cover the grading. Guys, we have Leighton Sheldon in the chat right now. Leighton is a world famous vintage baseball card treasure hunter, and he is going to be registering and bidding on the auction. So thank you, Leighton, for dropping in. And Christine Laurie, welcome to the show, and glad you're excited for January the 25th. We will see how things go. All right, we're going to keep on going, guys. We have 2 1952 Topps Mickey Mantles. We have this PSA 1. This thing's pretty messed up. I'm not going to lie. It's got some issues, but it is an authentic 52 Topps Mickey Mantle card. It's a PSA 1, recently graded. So let me just zoom out a little bit. I want to make this I want to make sure we can see the card. We'll hold it right there. Sorry about the scale below. And then we've got a PSA 1.5, a much cleaner copy, but it does have a crease running through here, but it is not infringing upon the head of Mickey Mantle at all. Not his baseball cap, not his face, his ears, nothing. Those are all very, very clean. We scroll down. I mean, this is a very, very nice, despite that crease, guys, this is a very nice copy. Now it's off center, it's low, it's to the right, but look at the image. I mean, it's a 1.5. If Leighton is still there, Leighton, what do you think? What do you think of this 1.5? How nice is that? The 1 is going to sell for a lot cheaper because it's got creases galore. It's even got, I'm going to zoom in on this issue over here just to show you guys. It's got some funkiness going on right down there on the border. The corners are, worn off for the most part, but they're, at least you see the whole image of the card. Lots of fray coming off, several creases and wrinkles. This is a PSA 1. It's a poor condition card, but it is authentic. Right now, this card has a bid of $25,000, while this one has a bid of $32,500. And right now, that doesn't seem right to me, guys. This one should be much higher than the other one because it is that much nicer of a card. I'm sure we'll get there. I don't know what this is going to sell for, but this price should go up further. And this one, I don't know what it's going to sell for, but it's probably got room to grow still as well, because we are looking at Canadian dollar prices. And as today in the world, 25,000 US is worth about 17,250. Sorry, 25 Canadian is worth about 17,250 USD for our American viewers. So, Ben, tell us whatever you can about these two mantles.
Yeah, so if you stick on the one there, interesting backstory on that. That was sourced locally, Brantford, Ontario. The gentleman who consigned it was the original opener of this pack in 1952. He owned or his family, owned a variety store. It was called Smitty's Variety in Brantford. They sold baseball cards. He opened this pack in 1952, and it has stayed with him for all these years. He was in our office today, and he was telling us that he was seconds away from responding to a newspaper article that was offering $1 for any baseball card before 1953. He was making $1.25 at the time at his job. He had 83 cards before 1953, and he was seriously considering trading those in for $83, which at the time would have been a paycheck for him. But yeah, he's pretty happy to have made the decision to hold on to it. And yeah, it's bid up to a bit more than $1 now, so it's good to see.
Oh yeah. And anything on this 1.5? Where did you source this card?
Yeah, so that came out of Vancouver, Canada. Sort of the reason that this sale is happening. The gentleman who consigned this card is a museum owner and sort of an eye for historic objects. He's had this card for a long time, and sort of decided that now is the time to let it loose. And yeah, it was one of the first consignments that we had for this sale, and reason that we're here right now.
It's an amazing, it's a beautiful copy. I mean, despite the centering in that crease for the grade, this is a really nice copy. So I'll look forward to seeing the future of the auction with that one. Let's move on. 1910 C56 card number 1, Frank Patrick rookie card, guys. This is considered the first hockey card of all time, the first player hockey card of all time, because it's card number 1 in the very first hockey set. Frank Patrick is a pioneer of hockey, a legend, a legendary family. This is a PSA 2.5, and outside of the centering, this is a very nice card. You know, you can see that the corners are all rounded, but they're rounded uniformly. I have a term for that. Hashtag sexy corners, everybody. These are sexy corners in my opinion. It's a great card. This is a very important card right here. Currently sitting at a price of $325. That is going to go up from there, but get your bids in on that one. Now to Justin and Ben, I'm going to start, like, we're at the 53-minute mark. We were wanting to keep this to about an hour, so I'm going to start going a little bit faster through these auctions. So Justin or Ben, just kind of put your hand up if you want to add anything, okay? Cool? Okay. Yep. Instead of me asking you on every card if you have anything to add. Okay, we also have the Newsy Lalonde from the same set. This is a Beckett 1.5. I love this card. I've owned it for many years. I have this whole set actually in my collection, the C56 set. So this is properly graded as a 1.5 by Beckett or BVG, their vintage grading brand. What's wrong with the card? Well, it's got a crease kind of going right through his face there. It's off-centered. It's even a bit miscut in that you don't, if you look at the name on the bottom, it kind of cuts off the letters. And I don't know what's going on here, if those are scratches on the card or the holder, but there's something funky going on in the bottom right quadrant. But outside of that, the color is good. I'm going to find the good things about this card. The color is good. It's authentic. It's got nice natural wear to it on the corners. For someone who's looking for this, and this card is an expensive card to buy. So in this grade, someone's going to get it. And it's at $1,300 Canadian. This is a tough card and a very, very important card. It's also the last card in the set, number 36. So you know that oftentimes the first and last card were often damaged because kids would put elastics on them, etc. Great card. I'm impressed that it's in the auction, as I am with the 1986 Fleer Michael Jordan rookie in a Beckett 8 right here. We're at $4,250. And looks pretty good to me. I mean, a little bit of, I think there's just some marks on the holder, but from a centering perspective, let's just look at the centering. Top to bottom looks really good. Side to side is a little bit off center to the left, but it is an 8, so that makes sense. Edges and corners look to be okay. A little bit of white showing on the top right and left corner. I don't know how PSA would grade this, but this was graded a near mint by Beckett. And it's cool to see that you guys have a Jordan rookie in this auction, 52 Topps mantles, among others. Let's keep on rolling. One of my favorite cards in the auction, 1965 Topps Joe Namath. This is a PSA 4. I've inspected this card, guys. Very strong 4. A very strong 4. Recently graded as well. Serial number starts with 999. I mean, just look at this thing. I don't see anything wrong with it. It's off center to the left. Many of these are, even in higher grades, 6s and 7s. You find worsely centered 6s and 7s. There must be something else going on because of the grade. There's and this is something I didn't even notice until Ben pointed this out to me the other day, a very light discoloration there. But I'll tell you what, if that is bringing down the grade and therefore the price, all day long, talk to me, because that doesn't bother me at all. If that's going to save me some money on this card because it's a 4, that's great. Look at how clean the image is. There's no butterfly on his hand, which we often see. I'm not a fan of that variation. This is an amazing 4. See if there's what's going on in the back. Is there a reason on the back why it's graded so low? Nothing I can see. The centering on the back is very strong as well. Guys, this card comes with the Jeremy Lee full blessing. If you were to buy this one, it's at $800. I think I've bid on it already. So, maybe I'm the high bidder right now. I don't remember, but great card here, guys. Like, Ben, congrats on that. Very quickly, where did this one come from?
Yeah, so this one found raw, graded recently at the Toronto Card Expo. This collector had, the legends of the card collecting world. He had the Ty Cobb in the sale. He had the 51 Bowman mantle. This gentleman had an eye for condition and an eye for the legends of the game. So
amazing card to kick off your auction. Speaking of the Cobb, here's the red portrait Ty Cobb. PSA 1.5, again, recently graded. I mean, look at this thing. It's a 1.5. So it does have I think it's got these small little bits of what, I'd call paper loss, where the surface was scratched out, maybe right there on the collar, some white marks, one on his hair there. So those are definitely going to hurt the grade. But this thing, other than that, presents extremely well. Look at how nice and bright that red color is. The centering is very strong. Oftentimes, Cobb is way down, his name is way down at the bottom, almost cut off the card, like we saw with the last C55 card or C56 card. This is a really nice red portrait. We look at the back. Okay, we see it does have some toning, and this doesn't bother me so much. It does degrade the card, but I'd rather you degrade the card because of the back than the front. So this is an amazing. And it's got the Cycle cigarettes. This is a rarer card back than many of the other T206 card back. So it's a T206 Cycle 460. I don't see many of those guys. We're at $5,500 Canadian right now. We've already beat the estimate. This might be a little bit of a sneaky card here, Ben, that that really might impress you very quickly. Jake Dahl says, if I had the money, I would buy that Cobb. Yeah, Jake. I mean, I'm with you on that. Dave Archibald said, in my opinion, the PSA graders at the Card Expo were very strict. That's good to hear because, I prefer strict grading than loose grading just to increase their business, the velocity and the volume. This is a great card, guys. Congratulations on having it available in the auction. All right. 1951 Bowman partial set, 155 of 324 total cards, including the Mickey Mantle one and only true rookie card. This is his only rookie. The 52 Topps is not a rookie. It's a more iconic card, but it's not a rookie. And this is recently graded a 4.5. And outside of that top to bottom centering, this thing's beautiful. It's a beautiful card. Look at those corners, and the edges are sharp. It's got, it's got a little black print defect up there, I suppose. Maybe I want to say a slight registration issue. And I say that because I can sort of see these little bushes on the bottom. You can kind of see them coming below the black line, the black border line, but that's okay. This is a card from 1951. This is probably a top 10 baseball card of all time, but it's a part of the lot of 155. You also get, as you can see, the Ted Williams. This card, I don't own the Williams or the Berra, but both of these cards are on my want list, guys. I love the Berra. I just love the looks of this card. I'm a Yogi Berra guy. He's one of my guys. The Ted Williams, these are beautiful, absolutely stunning cards. I haven't looked at the rest of them, but to buy this partially graded set, this partial set, and landing just the mantle itself is probably worth more than 21,000 Canadian right now. So some opportunity here for somebody. All right, Ben.
Yeah,
good?
just another set that was graded at the Expo. Really strong condition throughout. My probably personal favorite baseball set. I need to run a few more auctions to afford it, but it is a killer set and in really strong overall condition. We were pretty excited to get it.
Look at those card backs, really clean. There's the stack of them. They look very nice. Oh, what a stack of cardboard that is. All right, let's keep on rolling, guys. A 1966 Topps Bobby Orr PSA 6. Again, recently graded. That's what you want to see right now. And this thing is an absolute blazer. It's not perfect. It is a 6. I see a little bit of white on the top left corner there. But again, I don't mind that at all as a collector. Top edge looks very strong. Not perfect, but very strong. Side edges are beautiful. Bottom left corner, basically perfect. Bottom right corner, a little bit of white showing. Image of Bobby Orr, very clean, good color. I mean, this is what you want. This is a grail. This is a lifelong pursuit card for so many people. And this is the card that many people have been waiting for. And, this could have been a 7 if it was graded 5+ years ago, but it's a 6. And just congratulations to whoever ends up owning this card. It is an absolute stunning card. $9,000 Canadian right now. I see that going up likely. Very sign of the times. Vintage Collectibles says Miller & Miller, strong company with vintage advertising. Nice to see them in the sports card space. Sign of the times. There you go. Thank you for piping up and making the comment. All right, let's keep going. 64 Topps Tallboy complete 110 card set, $4,500 current bid right now. And usually I don't spend time to look at these like set lots, but in talking to Ben, he mentioned to me that these are in very good condition. So I want to take a closer look. And I mean, yeah, they're not graded, but they look so clean. The 6 of the key cards right here. Sure, the Bobby Hall's off center, but look at that. Tim Horton's great. The Makita, beautiful. Off center, but beautiful. Beliveau looks really good. The Plant looks good. The Gordie Howe looks just gorgeous. Ben, what can you tell us quickly about this set?
Yeah, I mean, just an awesome grouping, and that oversized card. We were able to look at a lot of these cards, and people interested in consigning. We only took on the 2 sets that we did because of the strong condition they're in. Those oversized cards were damaged easily. Often see those creases throughout them. But this set's pretty darn clean. Happy to have it in sale.
We have a PSA 3 Ken Dryden and a PSA 3 Guy Lafleur rookie. And again, I don't usually look at PSA 3s, but like when I'm doing a show like this, but guys, I looked at these cards. They're very nice. There's a wrinkle or a crease I can't see here in 2 dimensions, but look at this for a 3. Recently graded. Very important to state. Recently graded. Same with the Lafleur. This card looks very nice. Like these are very strong 3s. Now this just on the Lafleur, take note of the top left corner. I did notice that it has a bit of gloss loss on the top left. You know, there's a bit of the triangle. You can sort of see the discoloration. But other than that, like, it doesn't impede the image itself. Maybe there's a little bit of a wrinkle right here through the R. I'm noticing that now. But still, for a 3, these are really nice copies, you guys. We have this autographed Lou Gehrig single sign baseball made out to John. Again, if your name is John, this is your chance, guys. This is your chance. Now, we have this ball. We also have, where is the other ball? We have the Babe Ruth single sign ball. Now, Justin, do you want to tell us a little bit about these 2 baseballs, the Gehrig and the Ruth?
Of course, yeah, both locally sourced baseballs. So yeah, the Lou Gehrig is a single sign. The other one's actually a dual sign. It maybe doesn't look like that from the picture, but it's Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig, and they both kind of have interesting Canadian story with them. Specifically, the dual sign one that you've got up right now. So that ball came from a local estate, and reality is the story goes it was acquired during one of their barnstorming tours across Canada. They did the exhibition games back then, basically to make money. And there's a few balls that have been popping up in Canada from those tours. So this is a nice example. It's got both PSA DNA and JSA certs with it. And yeah, I mean, fresh to the market and just a great looking ball too, with a Canadian connection.
I think important to note too, Justin, that the signature and the ball are also graded by PSA along with the authentic certification.
Yeah, and if you go back to that Lou Gehrig single sign ball, we just got that one back from PSA DNA as well, and it came back, I mean, as one of the higher graded signatures that for balls that have sold even through Heritage and some of the major auction houses. It's neat. It's got the original box that it was found in there. If you look closely, the label on it, it's from a sports store. And if you dig even deeper, the address to that sports store, it's the New Rochelle Bookstore, is a stone's throw from where Lou Gehrig's childhood home is. So the story goes with this ball again. It came from a local estate. John was the husband of a woman who eventually ended up with this ball. And I guess from what I understand, John had a friend who lived close to Lou Gehrig and asked for a ball signed by him, and he presented him with this at that time. So yeah, I mean, it's basically been stored in a safety deposit box for, well, I mean, the duration of its life, and that's why it presents so well.
That's really cool. A couple of really cool balls there, guys. Dunkachino, good evening to you. Says, don't play baseball with that ball like the Sandlot. Good. That's great advice, Dunkachino. Thank you. Rome Rant says, you've convinced me. I'm signing up. Thank you for that, Rome. I appreciate it. These guys appreciate it. And always good to see you in the chat, Mr. Rome Rant. Okay, guys, we have Type 1 photographs of Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth. And I'm not really a Type 1 photo guy, but I can appreciate a nice picture, that's for sure. And these are just cool pictures. They're both Type 1 authentics as authenticated by PSA. And again, everybody, if you're watching right now, you know, we don't need to get into the details of every single listing here, but visit millerandmillerauctions.com, register to bid, view the items, read the descriptions, just peruse the website, read the Miller Times. It's really cool. We have, this is cool, 1929 New York Yankees found 16 millimeter footage featuring Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. Justin, Ben, whichever one of you, tell us a little bit about what this item is, because this seems really neat.
Yeah, no, I would encourage everyone to take a look at that description. Justin, or the purchaser of that film, purchased a collection of film. He had the ability to watch it, and he was sort of blown away by what he saw watching this film. You'll see some stills there, close-ups of Ruth in multiple occasions. You'll see video of him batting. You'll see video of Gehrig batting. And the story is that this game film was from a rematch of the 1928 World Series. It was a spring training game that brought out sort of an unprecedented crowd because it was a rematch of the 1928 World Series. So you'll see at the beginning of the film, it shows cars driving in, shows the stands, and then it moves on to sort of feature Ruth and Gehrig. So it's an incredible film, one of my favorite pieces in the sale, and just an awesome item.
Very cool. John Yost says, I can sign lot number 185, and Ben made it very easy, bid early, bid often. Welcome to the show, John. All right, continuing on, we have the Babe Ruth ball. We already talked about that. We have the Muhammad Ali George Chuvalo Heavyweight Showdown program and ticket stub, currently at $175. It's a pretty neat piece. Ticket stubs have become very collectible, and to me, I'll admit, I am not a ticket stub collector, and I don't covet them. However, I've seen a few where I'm like, this is a beautiful piece, a beautiful display piece. There has to be something on it other than just the date and the seat number. This has what looks to be Muhammad Ali right on the ticket in some sort of stencil stamp sort of. I think that's a really cool feature of the item. And you get the program as well. Really neat. 35 cents, guys, for that program back in the day. 1980 Topps basketball, PSA graded pack. I love these. I own this exact same pack in this exact same grade. I love unopened packs as a display piece. To me, it's not about the cards inside. It's about having the pack, a memento to when I was a kid in the 80s, opening up packs. These things are not like, they are not making any more of them. And when they are opened, and people do open them, the population just dwindles and dwindles. So these are really neat keepsakes and mementos of the history of the hobby. The Foster Hewitt signed photograph. Come in and read. Go do a Google search on Foster Hewitt, an absolute legend in Canada, radio broadcaster, started in the 1930s. He invented the term "he shoots, he scores." That was originated from this gentleman on this picture. It is signed by him. A really neat item right here, authenticated by PSA DNA. Type 1 photo of Bobby Orr and Henri Richard. Again, just trying to show you some of the variability of the items in the auction. It's not just cards. It's not just autographed balls. It's not just hockey. There's a bit of everything here, guys. This is a type 1 photo of Bobby Orr with Henri Richard chasing him down right there. I mean, it's so funny. He looks like a grandfather here, and he might have been, but this guy has more Stanley Cups than anybody else. Like, I think 11 of them. And of course, Bobby Orr, who many argue is the best all-time player, even when you consider Wayne Gretzky. Here's, to me, a key item in the auction. This is a Wayne Gretzky autographed 79 O-Pee-Chee rookie card. The card is graded a 4. And let's just take a quick look at the condition of the card. Like, it's a 4. It's off center. It's highest to the left. It's got some issues, the bottom corner, a little bit of a lift on the paper. The bottom right, you see a little bit of a chip out of the edge there, but that's not what's important about this card. It's not unimportant, but the more important thing about this card is the Wayne Gretzky autograph right here in a blue sort of marker. And you might look at this autograph and say to yourself, that doesn't look like Wayne Gretzky's autograph. Well, you're right. It doesn't look like his current autograph, but if you know, and some people do, this was his autograph when he was early in his career. Makes me think that this autograph was done before the advent of Sharpies. This could have been autographed in his first 2 or 3 years in the league, maybe even his rookie year. I know because I have a copy of this card autographed by Gretzky with the same style auto. My copy came from the cameraman from the Hockey Night in Canada, came from his personal collection. And he used to get these as soon as he could. I believe my copy's a rookie year auto. I believe this could be a rookie year auto too, because it's the same autograph. That's why I'm making this. I'm taking a leap here to say that. I can't guarantee it, of course, but this I can guarantee this is a very early Wayne Gretzky autograph on his rookie card. And recently slabbed, the most recent slab of any item we've seen here. Ben, where did this one come from?
Yeah, so another important note on this one, from the Savelli collection. So sort of early on in the game of collecting, this card was likely sourced near the beginning of his career. So yeah, Savelli card, eye for quality, and just a cool piece.
1,100. This is going to go up from there, guys, but you know, there is currently there's a few prominent collectors chasing down autographed Gretzky rookies. So I wouldn't be surprised if a few of these guys register here and try and snag this one and add it to their collection. It's a great offering. Congratulations on having it on the inaugural Miller and Miller sports card memorabilia auction. All right, two more. I love this card. I own a copy. I'm a big fan of 52 Parkhurst. This is, to me, the key card in the set. It's not a rookie, but it is the second year Gordie Howe, graded a 5 by KSA, one of their newer slabs. And just the centering is really strong. Really hard to find this card centered. This is a well-centered card. The only thing wrong with it that I can really see is a little bit of and that might just be the holder itself, but a little bit of an edge issue right over here. I mean, it's not a perfect card. There's some fray on the corners, but when you look at this card, you want to look at the brightness of the yellow and the red, and you want to look at the centering, and this has all of that. So a great copy of this card at a measly $275 right now. It's definitely going to go up from there. Great overall copy. And the last item, maybe my favorite item in the auction, it also features our good friend Ben right in there. There he is, guys. Just to show how big this thing is. This is a life-size statue of Cyclone Taylor, whose rookie card appears in the very first hockey set, the C56 set from 1910. But this is a life-size statue. It's actually got, like, his chest opens up. You've got some shelves in there that you can store maybe some nice high-end scotch or maybe some high-end hockey cards. I don't know. But this is a cool piece, guys. What can you tell us about it?
Yeah, like one of those one-off items that you're thrilled to have in a sale just to see where it goes. I mean, I love it. I mean, just like you, Jeremy, like you walk into the building and it almost greets you with those inviting eyes. But yeah, it came locally. Taylor was born near Owen Sound, Ontario. The consigner was a sort of a historian of the area and came across this statue and needed to have it. So yeah, just a cool piece representing a hockey legend.
And really quick, just to step back, on Instagram, the card professor says hard to find hockey type 1 photos that are PSA graded. So thanks for that, Professor. Appreciate your input into that. And yeah, I don't see a lot of them myself. Talking about the Bobby Orr, Henri Richard photo from earlier. Now, listen, if I win this statue, guys, how are you going to ship this to me from Ontario over here to Calgary?
Yeah, I mean,
so we build a crate for it.
Yeah.
We'd build a custom crate for that, and yeah, I mean, it's again something you could reach out to Miller or to shipping at millerandmillerauctions.com. You'd be able to get a quote. We have a local gentleman who crafts the crates for things like that because we're used to selling items of that size in a lot of our other sales, so it's not new territory for us.
Well, it's such a cool piece, and I'm just going to go in on my other screen here and log in and just see I am the high bidder on this right now. I'm the high bidder, guys. I'm the high bidder on the statue, and I plan to make a couple more bids. I've been outbid on the Joe Namath, and I was outbid on the Foster Hewitt hockey game item for now. But this statue, I mean, I could just see it would look really good just right over there here in my office, studio, library room here. It's just, is it really heavy, Ben?
It's not that bad, but it's big. I mean, I'm not short, and you can see the photo. It stands tall in a room and really makes a statement.
We'll find a way to get it to you, Jeremy. Don't worry.
Yeah.
How, guys, what's the story behind it? Like it says in the description here that it's from the 70s to 80s, but do you know who had it made? Where was it standing before? Any history like that?
So we only know of two that exist. The second one is rough. It got some serious damage and it's been painted over to represent somebody else. So this is, as far as we know, a one of one in that Cyclone Taylor representation, and the best condition out of the two. We don't know where it was made, who made it, but we know there's not many out there.
Thank you for that. Bottom of the ninth on Instagram says, I'm bidding too, Jay Lee. Let's split. Yeah, we can have shared custody on the statue for sure. I'll take it 1 year, you take it the next year. Hey, we could work, we could figure that out. I think it's just such a neat item. I featured it prominently on the thumbnail for this show. Guys, okay, listen. We're gonna stop there on the items because we got through a bunch of them. We did the scroll through everything. I'm really honored to just sort of introduce you guys to the Sports Cards Live audience. Of course, anyone that came over to the show from the Miller and Miller email list when you sent out and let people know we were doing this, I'm grateful for that and want to welcome those people over, your consigners, your bidders. Hello to all of you. Feel free to subscribe to this YouTube channel. But guys, I want to say, thanks for doing this with me. Justin, any final comments before we wrap up? Anything you'd like the audience to know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just excited. Like you've said a number of times, it's our inaugural sale in the sports memorabilia world. So the reality is, I'm excited to meet a lot of new clients. We've seen new registration from a lot of people, which, I mean, we get new registrants for a lot of the auctions that we do, but when we get into a new category, it's exciting to see these new names. So I'm looking forward to meeting new people, and again, meeting new consigners as well. I mean, like our goal here is to prove that this is a market that we can get into and we can and serve. But we've noticed a big gap there as far as auction companies that are able to handle this stuff professionally out there, and that's where we have kind of come in, and Ben has kind of come in to be able to service that market. So looking forward to meeting new consigners and new bidders.
Let me ask this really quick, and maybe I don't know if this is a better question for Ben or you, Justin, but I'll let whoever wants to answer. So the Toronto Sport Card Expo is, kind of the mecca for us card and memorabilia collectors. And in Canada, we get a ton of Americans up to that show as well as people from Scandinavia and Asia even come to our show in Toronto. I say our because I've been to this show 35, maybe 40 times over the last 25 years. I call it like it's like my home show, even though I have to fly 4 hours to get there. I love it. I did see Ben there. Justin, will you guys have any further presence at the Toronto Expo? Will Ben be walking around in April at the Toronto Expo? What are your guys' plans?
Yeah, we'll definitely be there. And another thing, reach out to me over email. Hopefully, Jeremy, we can provide that email. It's on our website as well. We'll be there whether we have a table or we just are walking around meeting people. We'll definitely have a presence there. And another thing to note is if you do purchase at this sale and would prefer to avoid shipping, we can arrange a meetup time at that Toronto Sports Expo to drop off your cards.
That's awesome. So you'll hold the items. This auction, guys, this auction is live right now. It ends on January the 25th. So put that in your calendars. Sign up, register. You'll get the email alerts as the auction comes closer to close. And the Toronto Expo is scheduled for it's April 24th to 27th. So if you're happy to let these guys hold it to avoid shipping, they will do that and deliver in person to you at the Toronto Expo. You're undecided yet if you're going to have your own kind of display or booth at the show. Is that right? Yeah, you're nodding. Okay. So maybe you'll do that. That would be great. Rome Rant was asking. I didn't even see that, Rome, until I asked it myself, but he was wondering if you'll be set up at the Toronto Sport Card Expo. We got that out of the way now. Joe Perot says, great items, cool stories. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate you being in the chat. Justin, Ben, we already gave Justin a time for final comment. Ben, any final comments from you before we wrap up?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you, Jeremy. It's really an honor to be on this show, and I think Justin and I can both agree it's pretty cool to be here today. I just wanted to thank anyone who tuned in, anyone who watches this video afterwards. Just really appreciate your engagement, and looking forward to what's to come.
Right on. Well, I'm looking forward to watching. I feel like you guys are up and coming in the space, so I'm excited to watch you do that. And we'll just read a couple final comments in the chat, guys. Then we're going to end this episode. Backcountry Lake says, is there a buyer's fee on top? Yes, the buyer's premium is 18% backcountry. They mentioned that a bit earlier. But hey, you're here now. Thank you for joining. And anyone who's coming in late, you can watch this episode from the beginning. This will live on the Sports Cards Live YouTube channel. Jeremy M., good evening to you. Mike says, so many good vintage cards in the auction. Yes, there are. Noah G., thanks for tuning in. You have a great night. Justin and Ben, hang on right there, you guys. But thank you for joining. Thank you to the chat. Thank you to everybody who's watching and listening. Please view the items, register at Miller&Miller.auction at MillerandMillerAuctions.com. Let's show these guys some hobby love. Let's give them a few more registrations. You'll get the emails. You'll keep on top of things, guys. And with that, this episode on Sports Cards Live, the Miller & Miller Sports Card Memorabilia Auction Showcase is now over. Thank you, everybody.
Thank